Thank you for joining me. We have a few props for class today. I have a rolled up blanket. So my roll is somewhat thick, and you could use a towel, roll it up. You could use a thick blanket and roll it up. So something like this. You can set it off to the side. I'm sitting up on a block, and I also have a few pillows for some extra bolstering throughout class. Good. So as always, you can use these props, or you can make adjustments to use no props as well. So use what you can or what you have around your house, and let's go ahead and get started. Find a comfortable seat, maybe tucking some padding underneath your hips. I'm sitting on one of those yoga blocks. And then close your eyes. Place your hands down on your thighs. Press your sits bones down into your prop or into the floor so that you can feel the flesh press into the prop. Pressing down, rooting down, and then rising up through the crown of the head. And then all the way along the spine, imagine growing in two different directions. So settle into this length. Begin to focus on your breath. Let a smoothness wash across your face. Soften the tops of your shoulders, and then let that melt down into the upper shoulders and the upper back. Soften through the mid-back and side bodies. Relax the front of the torso. Let the belly freely expand and draw inward with your breath. So let it really balloon and expand, and then draw it in for a contraction. Good. Feel a softening in the low back, a broadening. Imagine that the legs are weighted and the torso and upper body are filled with helium, drifting you upward. All together, we'll find an exhale. Inhale through the nose, closing the lips for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Continue breathing in and out at your own slow and regulated pace. I like to set our intention today as the idea of time or timelessness. So I've been thinking a lot about how we're all on a various amounts of a pause right now in life. Some people are still working and some are not. But this pause is an interesting place, as I personally have felt like there's still not enough time to get things done. So maybe there just isn't enough time, and I'm quantifying the amount of stuff to get done as some sort of sense of worth. So yeah, I'm just unraveling that and unpacking that idea of lifting some guilt away from getting things done or using time as an excuse. So here we are, we can dedicate this practice today to the idea of time, or the idea of timeless. Good. When you're ready, bring your hands into heart center. And we'll begin the moving practice with one single Om. Find an exhale. Inhale for Om. Release your hands back down to your thighs. Drop your chin down towards the chest. Let all the air out. Inhale, sweep the right ear over to right shoulder. Pause here. Exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, left ear to left shoulder. Pause here. Begin to gently sway side to side, stretching out the side edges, the back of your neck, as you slowly move back and forth. And what if you had hours to practice yoga? What if you had a very long time to practice yoga? Would it feel the same? Would you move with the same softness or awareness? Would you move faster or slower? Would it change anything for you? When you're ready, lift your head back up on top of the shoulders. Take the arms out wide, palms face forward. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, arms float down. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, arms float down. Inhale, arms reach up. Pause here, interlace your fingers and spin your palms up towards the sky. Stretching out, pressing through hands, pressing through fingers, pressing through wrists. And then stretch out your side bodies by swaying a little side to side. Bring your hands back up and float your arms all the way back down. And I'm going to take this block I was using under my hips off to the side, and I'll switch out the cross of the legs. Again, lengthening up through the spine, finding that tall seat, and then moving the hands forwards. Walk the hands forward, and it might just be an inch or so. You're starting to feel it in the hips. You might feel it more in one hip than the other, and that's okay. Breathe into the hips. Feel your sensations. Go further if you'd like. On your next inhale, walk your hands over to the right side. Reach out and fold. And then walk your hands over to the left side. Reach out and fold. Make your way back up to seated. Let's go ahead and move to hands and knees. So we'll come onto hands and knees and find a tabletop. Tabletop pose, knees right underneath your hips, wrist creases right underneath your shoulders, hands fan wide. Then drop your belly down, heart shines forward, gaze up. Exhale, round the spine. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat pose. Inhale, up for cow pose. Exhale, round for cat pose. Come back into a neutral tabletop. Gaze over your right shoulder. And try to take a look at your right foot, making a little C on your right side and a big C on your left side. Breathe into your left side body. And then come back through center and gaze over to your left foot. Good, stretching that right side body. And then move back and forth here a few times, gazing off side to side. Good, come back to center. And let's make our way into a child's pose. So a brief child's pose here. Big toes together, knees out wide. Reach your arms forward, forehead towards the floor. Start to activate through your child's pose, so really extending the arms forward, drawing the tailbone back. Maybe the elbows lift off the floor. Engage your inner armpits and draw them outward as you draw the shoulder blades down the back body. And you could stay here, or perhaps you come into downward dog. So either way, you're kind of cultivating this downward dog. So even if you stay in child's pose, you're exploring down dog hands. If you'd like to come into down dog, tuck your toes under, lift your hips up and back. Continue to fan your fingers wide. You might bend the knees and walk the dog a little bit, pedaling the feet out side to side. I have been exploring the art of jumping rope, and my calves are very sore. So this is actually a lot of work right now to be in down dog, to pedal the feet. Good. When you're ready, gaze forward, bend your knees, and either tiptoe your way to the front of the mat, step, hop, or jump. So make your way forward. Find a forward fold. Chin tucks, crown of the head drops down, reach out towards the floor. Breathe into the backs of the legs, wake up the hamstrings. Maybe shake the head, yes. Rock the head, no. On your next inhale, sweep your arms out, up, and overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms lift up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms lift up. This time, let's fold forward. Exhale. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to shins, extend the spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms sweep out, up and overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to shins, extend the spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms sweep out, up and overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Good. Let's cross our right leg over the left. Here, I'll do it to mirror you. So I want to try something new for students that I normally have. So crossing the legs, and then we'll sweep the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Good. Take a few breaths here. And what would it be like to place more weight on that front foot and walk the hands out? So you don't have to do this, but if you like, you could explore lifting the left leg up and back, or maybe a half split of sorts. Good. Then bring that back leg back down behind your front foot. Inhale, arms sweep out, up and overhead. Exhale, hands back to heart center. And switch the legs back out. So let's take the left leg across the right. So the left leg's out in front. Inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, fold forward. Good. Stay here for a few breaths. Explore. And if you like, you could stay here, or perhaps you walk the hands forward a little bit, or add blocks underneath your hands, and you take that back right leg and lift it up. What would it be like to explore a half standing split here? Good. Bring that back leg behind the front. Inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, hands to heart center, and your two big toes can touch. Coming into tree pose, gaze out, find your point of focus. Bend your right knee and turn out to the side. Good. You can either stay here at the ankle. You could bring your foot to your inner shin or your inner thigh. Just not pressed against the knee. Inhale, arms lift up. Separate your hands and bring your thumb and pointer fingers together. Good. Hands back to heart center. Bring your two big toes back together. Keep your point of focus. And then slowly switch the weight into the opposite leg. Bend your left knee and turn out to the side. Try the ankle, the inner shin, or the inner thigh. You might even try something that's different than the other sides, than the first side that you chose. Inhale, arms lift up. Exhale, separate your hands and bring your thumb and pointer fingers together. And bring your hands back to heart center. Two big toes touch. Let's go ahead and make our way down to our first yin pose, which today will be a child's pose. Okay, so if you'd like, you can add padding underneath your knees. I'm going to take this blanket roll and place it between my hips and my heels. Big toes touch, knees out wide, arms reach forward, forehead to the floor. On your next inhale, slowly make your way out of the pose. And you could take this blanket roll off to the side if you're using one. You can tap the toes out. You could do a few cat's cows. You could even do a downward dog or anything else that might feel good and right to you. When you're ready, we'll go ahead and set up for our next pose, which will be the dragonfly pose. So, taking the legs out wide, you could set some padding beneath your hips. I am skipping the padding today, and I'm going to build a structure. So, also this is another place where you could skip using props. But for some, props are wonderful, and for others, they are kind of cumbersome or, they might get in the way. So tonight, I have 2 pillows, a few blocks. I might even take this blanket roll and kind of make a turtle shell for myself. So this is something I do in restorative yoga classes usually. Good. Begin to fold forward any amount. And maybe come back to that intention of the idea of time or timeless. Has this been a desirable stretch for many people? Seems fairly simple in nature and seems like this could have been a go-to stretch for many different cultures, many different people. Find one more exhale here. You inhale, slowly press your way back up to seated. You might invite the knees to bend by grabbing the backs of the legs and bending the knees. Hands could be behind the back. Gently windshield wiper the knees side to side. It might even feel nice to come back onto the forearms and lift the legs up and sway a little side to side. Gently massaging the low back. And then make your way back up to seated. Okay, now let's take our blanket. And if you had unraveled it, let's roll it back up. So we'll make a blanket roll, and this will go across the mat, right around where you think the shoulder blades might lie. So we'll take that there. You could use a pillow or perhaps a block about 4 inches away from your blanket roll. So we'll come into a supported fish pose or a heart opener. So you're going to lay back on this blanket roll, head on your block, or you could skip the block and place the head on the floor as well. Stretch the legs out long, arms out wide with the palms up. Good. Begin to settle in here. And at any time, if you'd like to go for a deeper back bend, you could take the block or extra pillow away. And one more big breath here. Plant your hands by your side. Begin to tuck your chin. And slowly press your way back up to seated. Find a cross-legged seat. Place your hands down on your thighs and close your eyes. So again, trying to grow along in the spine. Feel a sense of broadening and lightness in the torso. A sense of buoyancy. Good. You might roll the shoulders around in one direction. You might roll the shoulders around in the other direction. Good. A few twists might feel good here. So just start to make some organic movements with your body. You can even circle the torso around. Good. Come back to your seat. And I'll offer a choice here. You can either lie on your back and take the reclining pigeon or reclining so you would bend the left knee in, right leg is on top of your left thigh, and you're drawing the knee in. Or if you would like to take pigeon pose or sleeping swan, you could come onto hands and knees and draw the right knee forward, right heel over towards the left side of your mat. You might use some props here. You could tuck a blanket or a block underneath your right hip. You could place a block out in front or perhaps a pillow. And begin to settle into the pose. We'll take only about 1 minute here. On your next inhale, make your way back up. Find some rebounding movement. So if you are still lying on your back in figure 4, you might hug both knees in. And if you were in pigeon pose, you might move around in any unique way that feels good and right to you. It might feel nice to come into a child's pose or a down dog. I'm taking a bound angle pose as my rebound. Good, and let's get settled in on the other side. So if you're lying on your back, you might lift your left leg up and over your right leg. Draw the right knee in. Wrap your hands around either the front of the right shin or the back of the right thigh. And if you'd like to explore pigeon or sleeping swan, you will come through a tabletop. And then draw the left knee forward. left heel over towards the right side of the mat. Lower the hips down, and you might set some padding underneath your left hip if you like. Perhaps a block or a pillow out in front, and then begin to fold. And we'll take about a minute or so here. And one more exhale here. Press your way back into some rebounding movements. So if you were in pigeon pose, you might come back into a child's pose or a down dog. Good, wherever you are, let's all together make our way down to the floor. So we'll lie on our back. Coming into twisted roots, lift your right leg up and over your left leg. Shift your hips over to the right about 2 inches, and then begin to drop the knees over to the left. You might place some padding underneath your knees on the left side. You might even cover up with a blanket if you like. Right arm reaches out with the palm up, left hand on the belly. And if you like, you could gaze over towards your right hand. Fine. One more exhale here. On your next inhale, lift the knees back up, unravel your legs, and shift your hips back to center. You might pause here briefly, noticing what you feel, settling into that pause. It also might feel good to come into a bridge pose, lifting the hips up and planting the hands by your side. It might feel nice to lay back in Savasana. You're ready. Lift your left leg up and over your right leg. Shift your hips over to the left about 2 inches and then drop the knees over to the right. Right hand on the belly. Left arm reaches out with the palm up. If it feels comfortable in the neck, you can take your gaze over to the left. On your next inhale, lift your knees up. Unravel your legs. Hips back to center. Take your pause. And if you like, you can move around. Or perhaps you stay in that pause. One rebound here could be a bridge pose or perhaps a shoulder stand if that's part of your practice. Or maybe just lifting the legs up for a gentle inversion, like so. When you're ready, we'll slowly make our way into our final Savasana. So you might cover up with this blanket. You might add some pillows in if you like. Make yourself cozy, comfortable. Eyes can soften. You might close the lids of your eyes. Soften the forehead. Relax the cheeks. Let the neck soften. Broaden the collarbones. Let your belly rise and fall with your breath. Release tension in the hips. Soften the legs. Relax your ankles and relax the soles of your feet. Relax your body. Relax your mind. Relax your body. Relax your mind. Relax. 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 On your next few breaths, bring your attention back into your body. Maybe let your intention float back up to the surface. The idea of time or time limits or limitless time. And when you're ready, begin to stretch your arms overhead. Point and flex your toes. Find a full body stretch. Roll onto your right side and begin to press your way back up to seated. Good. Find a comfortable seat. maybe tucking a block or a pillow underneath your hips. Sit tall, place your hands down on your thighs, and close your eyes. Good, we'll spend a moment here in seated meditation. So begin to melt back into this moment. Find the breath. Let the breath weave this intricate pattern in and out of your body. So each movement of that breath could be a little different. Could feel a little different. Settle into the idea of just watching the breath. When you're ready, bring your hands into heart center. We'll end today's practice with one single Om. You're welcome to join me or just listen to our voices. All together, find and exhale. Inhale for Om. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. Good. Thank you for continuing to join me with these Yin Yoga and gentle warm-up yoga sessions. If you would like a longer session, I don't have one to provide right now for various reasons. But I know that I typically taught this class and it was an hour and a half long. So if you are a previous student that would like a longer class, maybe now would be the time to play one of these classes from an older session, so you get to practice. If you put them together, maybe it makes an hour and a half. There's also some other YouTube videos out there that I personally do, so if you ever have any questions about another type of yoga or another person's yoga class, please send me a message and I'll put my information and links down below. And you can also sign up for the mailing list if you'd like. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Thank you for joining me and connecting with this practice. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day.